And today we have Dan himself here, Dan O'Weiler from Sterling Financial Advisors.
How are you?
Happy New Year, sir.
Happy holidays to you.
Yes.
Hopefully your holidays were good.
It was very good, and you yourself, I hope.
Yeah, we had a good time. We got together on Christmas Eve and had, I think, 25 people at our house. So we had 2 or 3 kids along with some friends, and Santa Claus came, and we had a good time.
All right. Who was Santa Claus?
We don't say.
We don't say. All right. Well, one of the things that the main subject we're going to talk about today is, and I think for some people this is can be confusing, they're required minimum distributions, and we're talking about IRAs.
Yeah, I thought that now that the new year is here, that we're going to start getting all of our tax things together, and I know we've probably touched on this in the past, but at age 70 and a half, anyone who turns 70 and a half and has any type of retirement account has to start taking distributions from them. Okay. And that's considered taxable income at that time, along with all the other 1099s they get from CDs or Social Security or whatever, okay? And a lot of people say, well, I don't need the income. Right. I have enough income coming in, but I'm required to take this. I wish I didn't have to, because now I'm taxed on it. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, as you take more income, the percentage of your Social Security also is increased when you're, and the portion that's taxed increases depending upon your taxable income. So a lot of people say, well, I wish I didn't have to take this. And so the government actually has come out over the last few years and says, well, if you decide that you want to donate your required minimum distribution, you can have that distribution sent directly from your custodian to a charity. Okay. Okay, so if you normally are contributing money to your church or some other organization, ASPCA or whatever it is, okay, you can have that required distribution go directly from the custodian to the charity and not have to claim it as income. Okay. So you don't get a deduction. So they don't give you a deduction if you're doing that. Okay. But you don't have to claim it as income on your taxes, which could affect how much your Social Security is taxed.
So when you take this, and this is something I didn't realize, I knew you were taxed on it, but I didn't realize that it also applied to what you're overall making or your Social Security. And that part I didn't realize. I thought it's like, well, you put this aside, now we're going to tax you on it, but we're not going to look at it as income. Yeah,
well, that's unfortunately, it goes on your, there's a line on your tax return. It says distributions from pensions, IRAs, or whatever, and you have to put that in, and so that's part of your adjusted gross income. Okay. And so what we have found is a lot of our clients say, Dan, I'm doing contributions every year with money out of my pocket. I'm just going to take it from my required distributions and give it to them. That way I don't have to claim it as income. Okay. The other option is you can take it as a required distribution, give it to the charity, and then you have a charitable deduction. Okay. But you have to claim it as income. Yeah. So there's a kind of a dichotomy there as to whether or not I do it directly from the custodian to the charity or take it as income. Maybe you don't want to contribute all of the required minimum distribution. Okay.
Now what about, at least when it comes to 401k, I'm not sure with IRA, and you start getting your distributions from them, can you have, like I took a distribution from mine earlier this year, and I'm past the penalty stage, so there's no penalty.
59 and a half. Yeah. So.
But
I didn't know you were that old.
I am. But what was, they took the taxes out. Now it doesn't mean I may not owe a little bit more, but that way I'm not worried about paying taxes on it. It was almost like a paycheck.
A couple of options you have. You can tell them to withhold the taxes. Sometimes they're required to if you don't make a statement or something like that. I have people that say, well, I don't want any taxes withheld because I have rental property and I'm not going to have to pay any taxes on it anyway. So generally when you request a distribution, they'll say, do you want federal taxes withheld? And you tell them how much you want.
Okay.
So you have the option generally when you're doing that. If it's just a straight distribution from a retirement account or something that's going into your personal checking account, there's sometimes requirements that they withhold 10 or 20% of that or whatever.
All right. Now the other question is, you have a required minimum distribution. Can you take it all if you want? Like, can you say
all of your IRA? Oh, yeah. If you have $100,000, you can take all of it.
Right.
But it's going to be taxed to you for $100,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So at age 59 and a half, you have the option of taking it without what they call the excise tax of 10%.
Yeah.
Okay. You can take all your money out, be taxed on it, and it will be included in your taxable income.
Okay.
If you take it prior to 59 and a half, you have an extra 10% penalty by the IRS, plus it's counted as taxable income to you. So, so a lot of people say, well, if I wait till after 59 and a half, there's no penalty. There's no tax penalty, but there's ordinary income.
Yes.
They were hoping to get it out without any consequences.
Yes, that's not
the
going to
IRS
happen.
doesn't say that, you know.
What about a Roth IRA? How does that work?
Roth IRA, you don't have to take required minimum distributions.
Because you've already paid taxes.
You've paid taxes on that, and we do some tax plannings with our clients and saying, you know, I'm concerned about the money that I'm leaving to my children, that it's going to be all taxable. Well, we'll set up a strategy where we can convert the IRA over to Roth over a period of time, or there's some other strategies that we can do. So when it goes to the children, it's tax-free. They can take it all out at once, or if an inherited Roth IRA goes to the children, actually they have to start taking required distributions, but it's tax-free.
Okay.
Okay, so they can leave it in the Roth IRA, but they do have to take required minimum distributions on an inherited Roth IRA.
All right, so that's something to consider.
Yeah, I just felt like, you know, a lot of people, if you're in the mode of charitable contributions, it's a good option to avoid having to claim it as income. Okay, but don't do it if you're not inclined to contribute anyway. Yeah. Because it's not doing anything for you. You don't get a charitable deduction by doing it this way.
Right. So that, you know, that's a good point though. You have to.
You're better off taking the required distribution, paying the taxes on it, and then you've got money in your pocket. Yeah. Doing it this way doesn't benefit you other than having to claim it as ordinary income to you. So you should be inclined, if you tithe to your church or do whatever, that's a good way to do that.
And that's where somebody like you comes in, because everyone, as you always said, they're different, the way their strategies are, their income, however it works. Sure. There's no, as you say, there's no right or wrong.
It's just not right or wrong. It's just that we need to kind of crystallize what our goals are. Yeah. Okay, and then structure a plan around that. Right. You know, a lot of times we have people that have larger IRAs, in the millions of dollars. And we'll set up maybe a life insurance program, so when they pass away, the kids can take the money out of the IRAs and pay the taxes with the life insurance. Oh, okay. So there's a lot of strategies that we can do, but that means you have to pay premiums on life insurance. So it's just it's a matter of saying, how do I want to get this money to the next generation in the most tax efficient way? Yeah. So. Just another argument for simplifying the tax code, which will never happen. Oh my gosh! Yes. Just throw it out and everybody pay 10%, and we'd all be okay. Yeah. So they say 20% of the people pay 80% of the taxes. Right. Right. So let me ask you, when it comes to that right now. And I know you're not a tax person, but you know a lot of the ins and outs. I know enough to get in trouble. Yeah. Can people still give at this point a charitable contribution and claim it for 2018? Is there like a no? Okay. I thought for some reason there was like December 31st at 12 o'clock. I thought there was maybe like a buffer. I guess if somebody doesn't close out their books and dates it December
Right.
31st, you
Right.
know, but you're going to get a receipt from the charity
Yeah.
dated January 7th.
Right.
So
right.
it's not going to. So
Okay.
it's not
I always
gonna work.
wondered, because I know there's certain things you can do that apply to the year before, you know, in certain
Right.
kinds of financial things.
Right,
Yeah.
right. You know, I think that if you sent you dated it December 31st and sent the check off and it was post dated,
Yeah.
you know, by the 31st, you're okay.
Okay.
Okay, but on January, what's the day? 4th today?
Yeah.
I can't be writing a check to
Okay.
my church and have it deducted.
Yeah.
In fact, to be honest with you, I made a contribution to my church on December 31st.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Just to make sure. I did it online, and so I was sure to get it credited at that time. And so, but I was just checking before I came in. The market's up 600 points today.
Very good.
Down 600 points yesterday.
Yes.
We're on a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, and you know what? It was interesting. I saw a little thing about yesterday. I follow you know, Apple a lot, and you know, the whole thing about Tim Cook, the CEO
Right.
of Apple, getting
Right.
on. And someone said, you know, if that was Steve Jobs would always start off with something very positive.
Right, right.
And Tim Cook is more folksy and go, hey, look, our iPhone sales aren't what we thought.
Right.
And of course, Apple went down, but
Right,
in
right.
reality,
10%.
they're going to have like their second biggest quarter in history.
Right.
And everything else across the board is up year over year. So
Right,
they've
right.
actually had an extremely good year.
Well, it was interesting.
but-
I noticed
yeah.
when the stock took a 10% hit,
Yeah.
they said market cap went down $74 billion.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm thinking, that's funny money. That's,
Yeah,
that's
it
just,
is, yeah.
That's just not crazy. That's crazy.
Right.
you
So
know?
in reality, I think they're doing okay.
So they make 500 billion instead of 600 billion.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Yes. All right. Well, if you need to get a hold of Dan and you know, you want to start the
It's
new
a
year
new
off
year.
right and have him look over what he may be able to do for you and his team, sterlingfa.com is the website. You can give him a call at 949-859-8900. They're located up the street in Mission Viejo.
Right
off
near the
Cerro.
right near
Yeah.
the Social Security office.
Yeah. So drop in and as you always say, you'll sit down and
Yeah, there's no
Just
charge
say-
for our first consultation.
Yeah.
We don't even know if we can help you until we get to know you a little bit,
Right.
find out what your goals are. But usually we'll spend 45 minutes to an hour with you kind of figuring out what we can do. And if we can help you, we'll put together a plan for you and see what happens.
yeah, they're kind of like a travel agent. Only it's for your finances, right?
well, I
You
guess.
sit down with a travel agent and see if they can
That's
help
right,
you out
that's
with
right,
something,
that's
and then go
right.
from there.
There you go.
All right, maybe he can help you with your travel one day. I don't know. Happy New
Hopefully
Year.
they can afford it.
Yes.
You know.
All right. We'll be right back.